Hey there, welcome. My name is Jessica Buchanan, and I'm a New York Times bestselling author, professional speaker, and founder of Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing company created for women who've been through something, now they know something, and they can teach us something. In Her Words is a podcast designed to support aspiring memoir authors on their writing and publishing journey. It's hard work, this writing and publishing stuff, and I want to empower you with encouragement and information so you can keep sharing your truth. So grab your coffee, your notebook, find a quiet space, and let's dive in. Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to our second episode of In Her Words. I'm so grateful that you have taken, I don't know, 20 or so minutes out of your day to join me and to learn more about the publishing world, more about your fellow authors and what they're going through. And perhaps you'll be encouraged, perhaps you'll be discouraged, although that's not my goal, and hopefully a little more educated in terms of what it takes to actually make it or break it in this industry, what we're looking for as a non-traditional publishing company. And I really do hope to inspire you. Even though I'm a truth teller and I'm a straight talker, I do hope that you feel inspired to keep writing and to keep moving toward your goals. And so today, what I want to talk to you about is something that I just recently, I feel like I've been dealing with a lot when it comes to like prospective authors and their expectations, and perhaps even like established authors that we work with. And it's about the fact that you really need to be building your audience before you've even written the first word down on the page. I think, I believe there is a misnomer. There's some flawed thinking when it comes to the actual realities of publishing a book and getting people to buy it. And dreams, I'm a dreamer. I'm the dreamiest dreamer you'll probably ever meet, but time and age and pain has made me wiser. And I have come to understand that just because you write a book doesn't mean people are going to automatically buy it, doesn't mean they're going to be able to find you, doesn't mean they're going to be interested in what you have to say. The reason people will come and buy your book and support you is because they know you, they know your story, and they support your journey. Now, if you haven't taken the time to start growing an audience, a group of people who you've invested in communicating with, telling your story, connecting with before you've written your book, then it is going to be difficult for you to hit a bestseller list, even on Amazon. It's going to be difficult for you to move past those statistics of, most authors only selling 250 books in their lifetime, in the lifetime of the book, not their lifetime, the lifetime of the book. And so when I get on an onboarding call with a client that we've signed, regardless of where they're at in the process, whether they brought us a squeaky clean manuscript and they want us to just review and publish, or if they've come to us with a partial manuscript and they want help with the developmental editing piece and then the copy editing and the publishing, or they haven't written one word, that's my favorite, that blank page, that blank canvas to work with an author on, because the onboarding, we go through lots of logistics, but one of my first questions to them is, what's your social media comfort level like? What's your audience like? It doesn't matter to me necessarily what your numbers and your stats are, but it's going to matter to you because you're putting in a lot of time, you're putting in a lot of effort, you're investing a lot of money into producing this offering, this manuscript, and publishing it. And we publish it because we want people to read it, right? Like otherwise it would just sit on your computer. You could print it out at Staples for $40 and have it on your coffee table. No, the reason we go through all this trouble is because we want people to read it, right? So what my question to them is always like, okay, well, what kind of email list do you have? What kind of audience have you built? And I mean, 9 times out of 10, they look at me, they take a deep breath and kind of let it out and say, well, not much. And I'm like, okay, well, here's the deal. You've got to be moving double time, triple time, quadruple time. If we've got 5 months to publish your manuscript, we're working on that. You've done the hard work of writing the book. Now it's go time for you in terms of getting establishing an audience and starting connect with people. And I know, everybody loves to hate social media and hates to love it, but I'm telling you what, it is one of the best ways for you to connect with your audience. Now, hopefully, when we have an author who comes to us, we've gotten to them at the stage, or someone has gotten to them and helped them identify who their audience is, who their preferred niche audience is. A lot of times, people still don't know exactly who they're talking to, and that's when the developmental editing piece comes in. That's so important. But that those questions that I ask you in those onboarding sessions are really, really important, because I just don't think authors understand that 50% of writing a book is about actually writing the book, and the other 50% is about marketing it and selling it. Again, if you're not interested in how many people read this, you're not interested in marketing it, and you think, oh my God, I'd rather like poke my eyes out with a fork than get on Instagram or TikTok and talk about my story, then this podcast probably isn't for you. And we are probably not the route to publishing that you're going to want to take. But if you are coming into this conversation because you want to speak, you want to perhaps write another book, you want to coach, you have some sort of service-based business where you are hoping that your book will help you attract clients. Perhaps you're a writing coach or a speaking coach. Perhaps you're in advocacy for substance abuse or mental health. I mean, I could sit here and list all the possibilities all day long, but whatever it is, if you're using this book to inspire and also educate, and then perhaps build a business from around or on top of, then you really need to think about strategically how you're going to build an audience, if you haven't started that already. And if you have no idea how to start, well, I'm glad you're here, because I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can grow your audience before publishing your book. Okay. So, um, here here is like one of the most basic fundamental ways that you can start growing an audience. And I got to be honest, I'm not like super well versed in the logistics of how to do this, because I have a team. And Lauren Buchanan, who is my sister-in-law, who I've worked with for about 7 years now, in various projects and various stages of building Soul Speak Press. She's our marketing director, and her background is in marketing. And so she knows how to do all these things. But the first thing I did when I went into business and started working on building my audience so that I had somebody to sell books to, that I had somebody to sell my offers to, was build an email list. So email is direct, it's reliable and personal. Unlike social media algorithms, most likely your emails are going to end up into the inboxes that you're sending it to, unless it gets into somebody's spam, which is, that happens. Um, One of the best ways we've been able to build our email list is by offering a freebie. I do believe on our website we have like a survey or a quiz that we offer for free. This, and I think people still like quizzes, although they're probably pretty attuned to the fact that if you're going to take one, you're going to need to put your email address in so that you can get the answers to it. Um, but we have a quiz that it quizzes you on like which style or type of memoir is right for you. Because I think that that does offer valuable information to people who don't know exactly what they want to write about. They just know they want to. And, it takes 5 minutes and then it helps us build our email list because in order to get the results, we need your email address. So you could think about like offering, like creating a checklist, a starter guide, a first chapter of your book, perhaps, journaling prompts, something like that. Offer a freebie in exchange for people's email addresses. Now, there are simple tools that you can use in order to create an email list. You can use ConvertKit, MailChimp, Substack. I would have to ask Lauren what we use, but we use a project management tool called Monday.com, and I have been getting used to it. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, but I believe that it works really well because all of our email leads come directly into that project management tool, and then we're able to um, uh, like populate that information and keep it on file. So, for instance, why this is so useful, we have a new offering that we're about ready to launch. We have another anthology that we're going to be working on next year called I'm Still Here. Our stories of becoming in the wake of surviving survival. So we're looking for 20 women again, um, to write and to be a part of this. And I'm really like caught up on work, which is an interesting feeling for me. And so I had a couple of spare hours last week and I thought, you know what? Let me just reach out by email personally to the women that we talked to for Out of the Ashes, who, for whatever reason, it didn't work out for them to join. Maybe circumstances have changed for them. And I went through the list of all of our leads for DTM4 Out of the Ashes, and I personally emailed all of these women and let them know that we were actually starting a new series of anthologies, and asked them if they were interested. I sent them a link to the submission form and a link to my calendar. I've had a couple of women sign up and get on my calendar because they want to hear more about the project. So for me, that was well worth the time, right? And I needed an email list in order to do that. Now, we use our email list to sell books all the time. Like we do this for our clients. We have several thousand people on our email list. In anytime we're have any kind of book launch for a client or for myself, our email is the first thing that we send out because it's so much more reliable than the algorithms on social media. All right. The second actionable suggestion I have for you is to share your journey publicly. Okay. If you're writing a book, you're going to have to share your journey publicly. Okay. I hate to break it to you. And if you don't know that by now, then, oh, you need to book a session with me so that we can figure out what's holding you back. So, people don't want just your book. They want to feel a part of the process, right? And so, here's some ideas, things that you could share on social media, on Instagram, TikTok. I'm an Instagram user. I'm sure that's indicative of my age. Everything I post on Instagram goes directly to Facebook. TikTok, I still haven't mastered, and I don't think I ever will, because I honestly don't think my audience is on TikTok. Um, for several different reasons, but Instagram seems to work really well for us. A lot of times we share behind the scenes posts. This works out really well, especially when we're filming trailers. People love to see those behind the scenes. Oftentimes I share behind the scenes when I'm getting ready for a speaking event because, there's a lot that goes into preparing for that. And it's not just about getting all gussied up and dressed up. It's about the preparation, the reciting, the hours that I spend going over my key talking points, or just the hours that I spend alone in writing. When I'm writing something, I'm getting ready to finish up my chapter for Out of the Ashes. Well, I'll be honest, I'm getting ready to start it. I still haven't started it. I'm procrastinating big time. And, that's bad. But, you know, photos of your writing space, your wins, your struggles. I mean, that is something I should probably be posting. Maybe I'll post that in my stories today. I've just inspired myself. Like, I am procrastinating, and oftentimes I procrastinate on these projects because I don't want to go back into the dark, scary places. It's hard. It's hard, and I'm feeling emotional today, to be honest, because I know that that's what I need to be doing, and I'm feeling resistance toward it because it'd be easy to just like, eat my feelings or go for a walk or sit and doom scroll social media instead of sitting down and doing the hard work of writing my memoir piece. But here I am needing to do it. So post those things. Document your progress. I do this all the time. I've hit 20,000 words today, or chapter 5 is a beast, or anything. And let people know that you're working on something. It's really easy to hibernate and work away, work away, work away, and then realize, oh, yeah, I should be telling people, oh, I'm finished. And then all of a sudden, you just expect them to be like invested in this product when you haven't included them in the process. And think about it from your perspective. Like the authors that you follow, I think a really good example of this is Jen Hatmaker. If you're not familiar with her, she's had several New York Times bestsellers. She's a big influencer. She was really big in the faith-based community for a long time, and they pretty much outed her because she started talking about racism and came out in support of the LGBTQ plus community. And so she was basically bashed for that. And she then, her husband was having an affair and she got divorced after like 26 years of marriage. And so she's got this memoir coming out that she's been working on and she's been talking about on podcasts. She's been talking about on social media. It comes out September 23rd. I am going to buy the Kindle version. I'm not buying any books right now, but I am buying digital things because they don't take up space. And I will be reading it because you know what? She sucked me in. She drew me in through the whole process, right? And I've been an avid follower of her because I think she's funny and I think she's a good writer and she's got a lot of really good insights. Um, and and so, but she's brought me in as a member of her audience. Um, through the whole process and how hard it's been to write about the fact that her husband was unfaithful to her and living a double life. And she's writing this whole memoir. And you know that her book is going to skyrocket. Like, this isn't going to happen to most of us, but her book is going to skyrocket to the New York Times bestseller list because she's been talking about it constantly. I mean, she was on the Daily, on a weekend episode. Like, she's all over the place. I think she was in Oprah's like her digital publication. She'll probably do a special on Oprah. Who knows? Again, this is not going to happen to all of us. But my point is, if you need a model, you need something to replicate, then go check out Jen Hatmaker. Go check out how she's doing these things. She's a memoirist. That's what she writes. She doesn't write novels. She's a thought leader in the like mothering space, I guess you would say, and perhaps like a crossover into more faith-based um, content. But I think she does, I mean, she's got a big team. And again, she's not a first-time author. I think this is like her 10th book or something. But you can learn a lot by watching how these really successful authors do things. And I would highly recommend that. So, the more you let people into your process, the more invested they'll be when the book launches. And I think that like um one of the things that has been so successful for us here at Soul Speak Press, especially on the anthology side, is that, we really did let people into that process, especially with the first one. The second one, my Instagram blew up and went viral because of the tune. If anybody out there has listened to the tuna fish, the tuna fish and tampon posts that I made, the reel that I made, that's when things really started blowing up for me. But I let people into the process of like, I was having these realizations as I was writing, and it grew my audience significantly. Our books sell thousands as opposed to hundreds, because we have an invested audience that we have spent years working to build. So here's your challenge for that one. Post one behind the scenes update this week. Just one. But if you're working on something, let us know how many words you're at. Let us know what chapter you're on. Let us know what you're struggling with. Let us know if you're enjoying it. Let us know if you're hating it. Let us know which way you're deciding to publish. This is for anybody. Okay. Start building. Start building. Okay. Third idea I want to give you is find your niche and speak to them. Okay. This has been hard for me because I have so many books about so many different things, and especially with these anthologies, the topics are all different. Like the last one was motherhood. This one's out of the ashes. Really, what I'm talking about now is just a lot of resilient stuff. I have this upcoming book, October 27th, coming out, How to Survive Survival. Um, and so, I think I'm going back and forth between talking about the publishing industry and then talking about how to survive survival, because that's what's coming up for me. And out of the ashes, I mean, it all kind of correlates and goes the same way. Your book isn't for everyone, and that's a good thing. What you want is to build a really, of course, we want our audience to be as big as we can build it, but we want a committed group of folks who are going to support us, who get what we're trying to put out there. They get what we're laying down. They pick up what we're laying down. Is that how that goes? So define your target reader. How old are they? What are their interests? What are their struggles? Okay. So many times I talk to prospective women, authors who are considering working with Still Speak Press, and I ask them who their audience is, and they're like, women. And I'm like, okay, well, that's 50% of the global population. No, you're not going to have a billion people buy your book. So let's get a little bit more precise. Let's get a little bit more defined in that trajectory here. So women who have been divorced and are middle-aged and are starting their life over. Okay. Maybe that is very specific to you, and you're like, oh, but I don't want to write about divorce. I don't want to, write about starting over. I want to write about manifesting. Okay, great. Then, you know, tell us about write your manifesting memoir and speak to those women who are interested in the whole manifesting journey, but get really specific. Create content that speaks directly to them. The best way I think about this, and the best way I know how to do this, is to sit down and think, okay, what did the past version of myself need to hear? So when it comes to me, like How to Survive Survival, that is the book that I wrote for the past version of myself. And when I sat down to write all, like, I don't even know how many chapters it is, 13 chapters, I kept thinking, like, what is it that I needed to read? What is it that I needed to hear? What stories did I need to hear so that I could connect with them? What models did I need to see so that I knew that there was something on the other side for me, that healing was possible? And so, it can be as big as asking yourself that when you're working on your book, or it can be as small as sitting down and wondering, like, okay, what did the past version of myself need to read in an email? And then crafting that. Um, Use hashtags. I'm not sure hashtags are really that big of a deal anymore. I've just been putting words, like relevant words, at the bottom of my posts. But I'd love to hear what you think. I did see something. There's an account I follow, Brock Johnson. He's like one of the Instagram gurus, and he says hashtags aren't working anymore, that they're not being prioritized by the algorithm, but I still see people using them. Um, but, different groups, different communities. Usually when I'm posting something, I'll write at the very bottom, words that are relevant to the post and to the group that I'm hoping will be served my content. So women writers, survivors, resilient women, memoirists of Instagram, stuff like that. Okay, so here's a prompt for you. Here's an assignment. Write down a description of your ideal reader in one paragraph. Now, I'm going to go one further and say, then write down 3 things that a past version of yourself needed to hear, needed to know, and then I want you to write either an Instagram post or a short little email content that you could possibly send out. Okay, and that will get you going. You'll realize, and you can even pop that sucker into chat GPT. I'm not a huge promoter of chat GPT. We are authors. We want to continue putting our voice out there, and we don't want it to be taken over by AI. But if you want some actionable steps, it can help you to give you a structure so that you don't feel so overwhelmed that you have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, two more real quick before I have to hop off and do a coaching session. But um, here's a fourth item or suggestion for you. Collaborate and show up where your readers are. Okay, so you've identified who your readers are. Where are they showing up? Okay, why it matters. Borrowing other people's platform will grow yours faster. Collaboration, teamwork makes the dream work every time, no matter which way you decide to look at it. How to do this? The best way, the best way you can do this is to be guests on other people's podcasts. Okay, I'm going to do a whole another episode on how to do that and why you should do that and what to expect when you do that. But for now, I'm just going to say if you have an opportunity to be a guest on someone's podcast, take it. It is I mean, even if one person listens to the podcast, that's one person that you reach that you wouldn't have otherwise. Um, get on panels, maybe guest blog, Substack. If you haven't gotten on Substack, if you're not, I've been talking to a lot of authors about that, even though I'm not currently actively on Substack, I am thinking about it. Maybe that's what I should do when I have some downtime instead of taking naps. But Substack is a great way for you to grow your platform, especially if you want to do some longer form writing. It's a great way to cross promote and to connect with other writers and then perhaps guest on their Substacks. So I'm not going to dive deep into that. And again, I'm not an expert on Substack, but I would love to bring on someone who is at some point so that you can learn more about Substack and how you can use it as a memoritis. So stay tuned. Um, partner with other authors who write in your niche. That is something that you can pop into ChatGPT too. Like if you write about self-love for middle-aged women after they've lost their job and they're reinventing themselves, pop all that into GPT and see what other ChatGPT and see what other authors write about that. And then find them, connect with them on social media, send them a DM, see if you can find their emails. Like, this is all work, I know. And you're going to say, but I don't have the time, or I don't have the courage, or I don't have the bandwidth. I'm like, well, I hate to tell you, but this is the author hustle, and this is all part of it. Again, you can't just write your book, pop it on Amazon, KDP, and expect people to buy it just because you have a pretty cover. You know, there are so many books out there. It's an ocean, especially because of self-publishing now. It's an ocean of books. You have to fight for your readership. You have to fight for your audience and build it one person at a time. Why should they spend their time? And I talk about this a lot. Why should they spend their time and their money reading your book? What do you have to say that's any different from what other, Mary, Meredith, and Marges have to say about divorce and reinventing themselves in middle age? What makes you different? What makes you different is you've spent time and invested energy and resources and thought and imagination and connection into building your platform, your audience platform. Okay. Serve before you sell. Okay. Always approach all of this through a lens of service. This podcast is an act of service to you. I don't make any money on this. No one's supporting me on this. In fact, it costs me money to do this because I have to pay Mika to produce it. Mika, I love you. I'm very grateful for you. But this is an active service for me because I'm a teacher by profession. I want you to understand the realities. I want you to learn. I want you to be inspired and motivated, but I also want you to be well informed as you move into these spaces that are very overwhelming. So trust comes before transactions every single time, okay? Share valuable content related to your book's themes, tips, encouragement, resources. What are you giving to the reader, the potential reader, so that they want to follow you, so that they want to purchase your book? What added value are you offering to them? Highlight your reader stories, make it about them. That was one of the best things I have ever done. Um, I just feel like collaboration to me just makes so much sense in so many ways. But as far as like, think about like with our anthologies, right? You have 20 women, myself included, who are so excited on launch day to tell their entire network that they have participated in this project. They have shared their story in this way. So each woman brings, let's say, 10 verified authors to the table to leave a verified review on launch day, and automatically you've got 200 verified reviews on your Amazon account, and you are gangbusters bestseller, and you've already sold 200, if not more, copies of your book. You probably sold, and then you'll sell another 50 at some point. You've already sold what, like 97% of authors, you've sold more than they do in the lifetimes of their book, because you've collaborated. Another thing I've done is I've interviewed other authors for my book. I have 20 people that I interviewed for How to Survive Survival. Some of them are authors, some of them are not. Most of them are really excited to be involved and to share this book with their network, and that they were highlighted in this book, in this body of work. And so they're going to buy it for Christmas for all their friends and neighbors and family, or they're going to share widely on LinkedIn. Get people to you share the platform, share your platform, ask if they're willing to share their platform with you. Build community spaces. Facebook groups are still a thing. Substack threads, totally the new thing. Retreats, a lot of work. We'll talk about those in a couple of weeks. The more value you give now, the more likely readers will invest later when you're ready, when you have your ask. Okay, so here's a project. Share one piece of content this week that helps your audience without asking them for anything in return. I do this several times a week because I don't want to be asking you guys to buy things all the time. I want to be serving you. I want to be giving you ideas. Okay, so recap. Here are the 5 ways. Start an email list. Share your journey publicly. Find your niche and speak to them. Collaborate and show up. For the love of God, show up. And then serve before you sell. Okay, you don't have to wait until your book comes out to start building your audience. Remember this, the time to start is now. I don't care how much you've written, start now. By the time you publish, you'll already have readers waiting. So here, I want to invite you to, here's your journal prompt for the end of this episode. I want you to write, either later on today or tomorrow, whenever you do your journaling time, if my ideal reader was sitting across the table from me right now, what would I want to say to them? And how could I start saying it before my book is even published? Don't get caught up in the fact that you haven't finished your book, and that you need to have that finished before you know what to say. No, you just share your story, share what you've been through, what you know now, and what you can teach others. And oh man, for the love of God, please just keep writing. All right, I'll see y'all next week. In Her Words is hosted by me, Jessica Buchanan, and is produced by Soul Speak Press, a non-traditional publishing house for women who are ready to tell their story. If you would like to know more about our submission process, I encourage you to check us out at www.soulspeakpress.com or follow us over on Instagram at soulspeakpress. We appreciate all your questions, and if you would like to leave us a review, we would be so grateful.